Gouki in the year 2019 with the bans on the current format. When we cleaned up Gouki after the end Firewall Dragon, nobody thought to think about this deck still being good. Well, we were wrong. So I saw Hunter actually playing this deck in the Zodiac tournament. I was like, huh. I didn't think much about it, and I just kind of scrolled through. I saw Gouki, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Now he made top 8 at the Florida Regional, playing this hot pile of garbage. Just kidding. This is actually really good. He topped. I have to give a shout out to Jamie TCG and Solar System Duelist as well on Hunter's behalf, because that's what we have to do around here. Got to show our love to the teams, of course. So what's going on here? So Gouki engine allows for a nice stable engine that you can basically climb link ladders with, which I think a lot of people literally fucking forgot that this engine existed in the game. And it's a really strange thing because, you know, 2 warriors literally makes one of the best cards in your deck called Isolde, which allows you to, you know, dump off your equips. Now, we're aiming towards the 50 card deck here because, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I looked at this deck and I was like, oh man, like, we're already playing the Gouki engine. There's some bricks. Then we're going to already throw in some more equips, which are going to be more bricks. And then in the long run, I was like, well, you know, like, it can't be that bad. And I was massively incorrect in my statement when I was assuming that that's what we were going for. Because in the long run, it actually worked out for him. We got the chance to top regional. In the grand scheme of things, Azathoth is going to be your win con. If anything actually ever happens to Azathoth, like, this deck is probably going to flop on its ass, unless it will find some way to evolve. But everything in terms of the Orcust deck, you're doing one of 2 things with the Orcust engine. You're either making Boral Sword killing your opponent, or you're trying to aim for some sort of degeneracy to step into Azathoth and, you know, quote-unquote disrupt your opponent, which is literally all that you really are aiming to do with the deck. Actually, it's all you really need to do to disrupt your opponent. Also, this is pretty spicy here, actually. The fact that I see a Cyberstein here, and I also saw him use Junk Anchor. For a Synchro Summon, you can substitute this card for any one Synchron Tuner, and once per turn, discard 1 card and target 1 non-junk monster in your graveyard, special summon that target, and if you do immediately after this effect resolve, Synchro Summon a Synchro monster that lists a Synchron monster as a tuner, using that monster in this card as material, which actually gives him access to Road Warrior, which is a Road Synchron plus 2 or more non-tuner Synchros. Then you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower Warrior or Machine monster from your deck. Actually, pretty cute plays here, because, well, it does actually say level 2 Warrior or Machine, which summons the Stein, which you keep comboing. God, that's actually dumb that you get access to that in your son. That's really cute, actually. All right, let's move on into the deck here. So we have 2 copies of Mothman. Typical draw discard. He's probably the sub danger that I see a lot of people going to, just to kind of be the piece that brings the deck together. I do think in the long run he's one of the better danger cards in today's metagame. Of course, like, next to Nessie and them. We're also playing triple copies of Tsuchinoko. Standard level 3 dark that when is discarded, no matter what, it's going to get to hit itself onto the field. That's literally all we care about for this card, is he's going to be able to stick. Now, we have the standard Gouki package, and I mean, this is as standard as it gets. So we have 1 Headbat, 1 Octostretch, triple Suprex, and 2 copies of Twist Cobra. These are the ratios that we've seen for literally the longest time in this deck. No need to shift or mess around with any of the ratios, because if it's not, you know, unstable or unbroken or anything like that, as long as it works, we're good to go. Once again, standard extender or starter, junk forward plus other warrior makes combo go. Same thing with Marauding Captain. This plus other warrior makes your deck go. Now, of course, this deck is still playing the Neospatian engine, and I think a lot of people, after we lost the big bad dragon that discards cards from our opponent's hand, everybody was like, oh no, like, this wasn't good. And we saw this make a huge resurgence after Chicago. Everybody started to realize that getting extra resources or hand traps out of your opponent's hand was actually really fucking good. And I will give it to this engine. This is still one of the best engines out there because you literally just get to climb into a Soul Day after you rip something from your opponent's hand. Now, of course, this deck does play the standard Orcust package. 1 Signable Skeleton, 1 Harp Horror, 2 copies of the Orcust Nightmare themselves. Definitely no real reason to go against this mentality. I believe that these are the correct ratios. If you start messing around with the finer points in the deck, you're going to start getting into brick territory, and that's not something that you want to do. Now, we also have access to the Phantom Knights. We have 1 Ancient Cloak, 1 Shade Brigade. Literally, once again, part of the combo engine of the deck. This is not something you're going to mess around with. Don't start getting cheeky thinking you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to put in more. No, stop. If you start messing around with the already defined ratios, you're going to start moving into brick territory, and nobody's going to want that. We have 1 copy of the World One, also pretty much a testament to the Orcust package. If that's there, this is here. And we have triple copies of Called by the Grave, also very standardized. I almost feel for a deck like this. Hand traps, I almost want to say that hand traps really do mess up this deck a lot more than it actually looks like it does. So you need to make sure that you're able to play and operate underneath those hand traps. And honestly, Called by the Grave gives you that chance. Now, standard equips 1 DDR for Revival. We don't have access to Militias anymore. I mean, we could, but nobody wants to deal with that brick. We have 1 copy of Phoenix Blade, also very standard. 1 copy of the Rematch. This is why this deck is good, because you get access to search for this to revive too, for the extra link spam. I think ever since Soul Charge was kind of lost, I think a lot of people, if you don't have Soul Charge, do you really want to play Gouki? We have 2 copies of Instant Fusion, access to Thousand Eyes and Rage, and both really good actually right now. We have 1 copy of Living Fossil for Survivability, same thing with Monster Reborn. 1 copy of the Alpha Duder for Back Row, and Overdone Burial for Revival. We also have the 1 copy of the Rhoda for Searchability. Now we actually have a pretty decent Sky Striker package in here. We have 1 Jamming Waves. This is actually interesting. Most of the time we always will see this be Afterburners. Well, Hunter actually took this 1 step further and opted for the back row removal with Jamming Waves, which I don't necessarily disagree with this. I actually don't think that this is overall a terrible push on his behalf. I actually kind of really like this as an ideal concept. Not too bad, actually. Giving just what this card actually does in today's format. Hornet Drones, Kagari plus this, or make said warrior to combo out. It's so good. Triple copies of Engage, yeah. Look how many spells we play. Ugh. If you are able to dump 3 spells in the graveyard and then engage, do your combo, congratulations, got a free +1. We have Rank Up Magic Broken for, our standard Broken play. 2 copies of Twin Twister for back row, and then we have 1 Fog Blade, 1 copy of Shade Brigade for what we came here for, ladies and gentlemen, the combo extenders. Now, the extra deck down here, we have 1 copy of Rusty Tin Can, because the Phantom Knight engine in and in itself is really broken in a lot of decks, and I almost say that we should ban this, but this is actually the real problem. We have 1 copy of Summon Sorceress, because going into the full Gouki engine, getting more Goukis on the field, it's so lovely. We have 1 copy of Kagari, because Hornet Drones, plus this, literally just starts the deck. 1 copy of Unicorn for general disruption across the board. 1 Phoenix for back row removal. 1 Mermaid for combo starting. We have 1 copy of Griffin, just as Griffin was meant to be. We have 1 copy of Nightmare Cerberus, 1 copy of Isolde, 1 copy of Galatea, 1 copy of Boral Sword Dragon, 1 Redoer, and 1 Azathoth. Yeah, this is as good as it's going to get here. And then we have 1,000 Eyes Restrict, and 1 copy of Ragin, wrapping up the extra deck. There's nothing really too special you need to change in the extra deck. Extra deck is very standardized for what you're trying to do with this deck. Now the side deck. This is the spice. Like I was saying earlier, Cyber's Time with the Junk Anchor to substitute to make the Road Warrior, that is actually probably the coolest thing I've seen in a while. Especially okay, so let's be honest here, his conditions are a little bit crazy, considering you have to have a tuner plus essentially we are 2, 4, 6, 8, so you'll tune around here, you just need 2 level 3s to get into the Cyber's Time. To get into the exterior, which, I mean, hey, it works. So with 1 Cyber's Time, 2 copies of Prankatops, 2 copies of Phantasmi, 1 copy of the Junk Anchor, 1 copy of Exterio, 1 copy of Road Warrior himself, 1 Orcustrion, triple copies of Evenly Matched, and we have triple copies of Red Reboot, wrapping up this bad boy. Actually, this is pretty cool. I'm actually very happy that we got the chance to look at this deck today. Also, just some of the more interesting things that we're seeing in today's current format. So what do you guys think about this deck? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about Orcust Gouki. And, well, guys, congratulations, Hunter. And thanks, Jamie TCG and Solar System Duels, for this fantastic opportunity. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.